here we go. Let's grab this. All right, good. Each of the tools. All right, your first one is NSLOOKUP. All right, so NSLOOKUP, I think it's on Windows too, but I'll just show you on Linux, or Mac, I guess in this case. NSLOOKUP google.com returns the name to IP address. More common used command is actually host, so you can say host google.com. Returns the same thing. Note here it returns other records. These are MX mail records. I don't know if you remember that from that lesson. Okay, but let's see if I can grab Windows machine. And I believe that on here you can do NSLOOKUP also. So I don't know if I can do it in PowerShell. I don't know PowerShell super well, but NSLOOKUP. Yep, okay. I want to say google.com, you could do that. Yeah. And so here you see NSLOOKUP turns into interactive mode. It's asking what's the name I want to look up. I type in Google and it returns. You'll see in both tools the answer is somewhat close. Is it? Yeah, they're not exact, but you get the idea. Alright, so anyway, you would use these tools for name resolution is really what this boils down to. The NSLOOKUP. Ping, yeah, so obviously you would use ping to check to make sure that the target is alive and well. And okay, alive and well. That's what you would do. Port connectivity, Netcat. So Netcat does not exist in Windows. Does it exist on a MacBook? It does. Syntax. Let's just try ncat. Google.com 80. Does that work like that? Did I mess that up? Probably. I don't know. I was thinking about it. I'm just going to look up netcat syntax. But what you're really doing is you're just trying to connect to Google to see if the web server is running on port 80. So you could use telnet. It's actually a little bit easier. .com 80. And then if you see this, then it connects and it's okay. Just to show you what it would look like if you chose a target or a service that did not exist, you could say 56789, and then it would time out. So it doesn't connect. On Windows, you can see that. I installed Telnet on this machine, so I know it'll work. But by default, it's not there, and it would just return like that. And then you would hit Control and bracket to use the escape sequence. See, it says escape characters, Control and bracket, and then type in the word quit. So that's that command. So yeah, again, if there was a web server not listening on port 80 at target address google.com, then it would just time out like that. So it's very useful. So side tip, if I were to telnet to google.com on port 80 and it does not return, it doesn't mean that the service is not there. It means that we can't connect to it. They're two different things. So for example, well here, let's just, so if this computer here holds google.com, the web server could be running and I can't telnet to it. What it could possibly mean is that on this server itself, there's a firewall running, or there's a firewall in between. So this computer cannot talk to this one on port 80. So that's always a big thing in the job, you know, when you do that work. So a lot of the concepts that we've already talked about in class that they basically just blew over are like super important conceptually when you have them together. Port connectivity, yeah. So basically, the big port testing tools are firewalls, source port, destination port, ping, and telnet and netcat. The reason why NSLOOKUP is like not that useful is because the fastest way to just ignore NSLOOKUP essentially is to just replace google.com with the IP address. So if you just do this, it's the same result. And it's just faster. Like you don't have to, you just eliminate one whole factor, like the name resolution doesn't work. And yeah, that's a quick 2-minute tutorial.